Are you tired of riding the stock market waves up and down? Have you ever looked at your 401k statement and wondered if there was a better way to manage it all? If the answer to either one of these questions is yes, then this video is going to be right up your alley. I'm Jim Gebhardt, founder and chief investment officer of 401k Masters. And my job today is to help educate you on how best to invest your most important retirement assets. You know, saving for a secure retirement is really on our shoulders today. We're taught from day one to invest as much as we possibly can in our 401k, our 403b, or our 457 plan. We ask our friends and family for some advice on which funds to be invested in because we really don't know much about stocks or bonds or mutual funds. So we check our account every once in a while, particularly when the markets are doing well, but we avoid it like the plague when the markets are scary, especially in years like 2002 and 2008. We don't have much time or interest to do more than that. So we forget about our 401ks and we hope it all works out okay. Eventually, we reach a point where the account balance starts to have some meaningful amount of money in it. And we begin feeling like we can't afford to screw this up. We start thinking, I should really be doing something more than just letting this thing sit there and ride the market waves up and down, but I don't know how to get the advice I need. My company can't give it to me. The mutual fund company that manages my plan can't give it to me. So what am I supposed to do? For nearly 20 years, I've been asking retirement savers the same question. What's your strategy with your 401k? The most common answer we get is, I don't know. I don't think I have a strategy. I guess I'll just ride it all out and trust that it's going to work out okay. Even though most people don't believe they have a strategy for their 401k, they actually do. Wall Street has been promoting a strategy for decades. It's a strategy based completely on hope. But if you became aware of it and you realize that your retirement strategy is really based on hope, my guess is you would take the time and make the effort to find a better way. As an investor, you've been told to buy and hold stocks. Think long term, sit tight, and be patient. You were also likely told to do nothing except stay invested because if you ever got out of the market, you'd likely miss the best days of returns. Of course, you were never told how it might benefit you if you missed the worst days of return in the market. That doesn't serve Wall Street. You were only told the idea to sit still and be patient, invest for the long haul, and hope you have enough time to recover if your retirement savings ever gets rocked by the markets right before you plan to retire. Wall Street calls this buy and hold. We call it buy, hold, and hope. What concerns me is how this widespread belief has taken over the thinking and that hope is okay to bet your retirement on. Buy, hold, and hope performs so well over a few extended bull markets, but it's not always like that. Let's compare a few scenarios. From January 4th, 1982 to December 31st, 1999, the average annual rate of return of the S&P 500 was over 18%. That means that if you'd bought a mutual fund that tracked the index in early 1982 and sit still and did nothing for 18 years, you would have had a spectacular rate of return on your money. During that period, money was doubling about every 3 years. So that's almost 6 doubles in that 18-year period of time. This was the market that most of us grew up in. So why would we think any differently than buy, hold, and hope? Let's look at the next slide. So from 2000 through June of 2010, the S&P 500 had a negative 1.6% annualized return. That's awful for a decade. And the consequences of hope investing devastated millions of Americans for an entire decade. Many of those who retired in 2000, after the booming 90s, had a vastly different retirement than they'd hoped for if they were able to retire at all. You know, one night in October 2008 during the global financial crisis, I sat quietly in my office after a very late night client meeting, and I made a vow to myself that I was going to find a better way. I started researching different asset management styles. I studied hedge funds, all those strategies, technical stock analysis, point and figure charting, derivatives, you name it, I researched it. And in July 2009, I was introduced to a concept called quantitative trend analysis. Trend analysis is a mathematical and probability-based approach to managing money that identifies the different patterns and trends that occur in the stock market and the bond market, and it assigns probabilities to different potential outcomes. Trend analysis is a rules-based approach to managing money, and the key to that is it takes all of the emotion out of the decision making. This got me very excited. I decided to completely abandon how I was trained as a professional financial advisor. I completely revamped my firm's investment strategy. I fired all of the outside buy, hold, and hope managers that my clients were invested in, and we moved that money in-house where we would be providing those investment management services. And I took over in the captain's seat, in the cockpit, and managed the instrument panel that we had before us. All I cared about was getting my passengers safely to their destination. No way was I willing to fly straight through a major storm ever again, telling my passengers to buckle up and hang in there as my only real advice. Since using trend analysis, our clients love the fact that we hand fly the plane and we just don't cruise on autopilot. Since 2008, we've attracted many new wealth management clients, and they have come from the fact that people want a different approach than buy, hold, and hope. This demand for change and our desire to want to help is really what has inspired us to create 401k Masters. And if you're asking yourself the question I think you are, which is how can 401k Masters help me manage my retirement account, and how do I implement this strategy, especially if I don't have the time or the interest to really follow the stock market much, that's where my partner, Matthew Grishman, will be back on the next video to answer that very question. Matthew will also share with you all of the details of our powerful step-by-step program we've created for you called 401k Masters. We've covered a lot in this video today, and now that you know the strategy Wall Street has had you following for years, and even better, now you know it's not your only option. We created 401k Masters to provide you customized, systematic advice that is free from all the conflicts of interest that exist on Wall Street. We know you want to retire comfortably one day. We know you really want trained professionals to advise you on how best to manage your retirement savings. And unlike the big Wall Street firms, we get you. Ready to learn more? Video 3 is on its way.